Hi everyone, welcome to my initial thoughts of No Time to Die. As yes, we're finally here to discuss this film, and yeah, it's finally here. Bond 25, No Time to Die, and yeah, finally saw this film, Sunday, so a few days ago now, and here to discuss my initial thoughts. First viewing, of course, and I will go and see it again at least once. Well, probably once actually, yeah, and then review the film. So that's just the kind of thing there. This is an initial thought. It could be fairly lengthy, but not as lengthy as the actual review, and that will come eventually. And both will contain spoilers. So spoilers in this discussion as well. Not just a general talking here. I will kind of get into some things that I have to kind of give spoilers for. Or I can't. There's no point doing the video. At least from my perspective, and so be warned, of course, if you haven't seen this film, I recommend seeing it first and seeing what you think of the film for yourself. And everyone reacts differently, of course. And yeah, I look forward to respectful comments. Please, if you want to share your opinion, just remain, kind of civil. And of course, it will divide fans. This film, and just like in every film, it's people that don't like a film and like a film, and that's just the way it is. And as long as we remain respectful and don't make any personal attacks and this kind of thing, I look forward to the comments. So yes, with all that said, let's discuss this film. But first of all, of course, in this film, of course, directed by Cary Fukunaga, and of course, it's his first Bond film, and of course, the final Daniel Craig film. So firstly, I want to thank Daniel Craig. I was very young when I first saw, I've discussed before, Casino Royale, and soon after it came out, I didn't see that at cinema, and I've seen every Bond film since, at the cinema with my family or just other people, on my own, and this time around, I saw it with my brother, and he's also a massive Bond fan, and we watched Bond and all this together, and yeah, it was a great kind of feeling I had going to see this, and partly because Daniel Craig for me has been one of the best Bonds, and I think what he done for this character in terms of his performance and just his care in the production and all this, for example Casino Royale, really just kind of getting involved in the production, the casting, and really wanting to make this era, I guess, great, or as great as it can be. And he's shown the passion for the character, and it's very very sad to see him go. But of course, a big thanks to Daniel Craig, for just making my kind of later childhood, or early teenage years and all this onwards, a great time, as a Bond fan, and I personally, yes, I do think he's one of the best, and I think he's just masterful, as Bond, and his fifth and final Bond film, and of course we will get to that, because it's definitely his final Bond film, and just definitely they've made sure that is clear, and we'll get to that, but a big thanks to Daniel Craig, and to the regulars, of course. Naomi Harris, Ben Whishaw, and all these Ray Fiennes, and it's just been so great, to see, at least in the last few films, these kind of actors portraying these, the characters that we love, through the Bond franchise, and always great to see them returning, and I think in this we had some great stuff once again, and I think which we'll get to as well, it's kind of safe to say that none of these could be returning, so of course if you've seen the film, you're watching this, you'll know perhaps what I mean through that, but which is very sad as well, I must say. I've loved seeing all these different great actors portraying these characters, and it's really sad, but I don't really think, at least in, from my perspective, it doesn't seem like they're going to be kind of returning to this franchise. So yeah, just once again, thanks to all those recurring, and of course Daniel Craig, Barbara Broccoli, of course Michael G. Wilson, of course these producers, what they've kind of they really care about the franchise and the legacy, and really it's very much I have so much respect for those as well, and of course they've kept Bond going, and I truly love Bond, really it's not it really has as well brought so much kind of emotion and just meaning to my cinematic kind of experiences, and without Bond, even just without the Daniel Craig era, it would be a different experience for me. Just seeing, of course, Casino Royale when that came out shortly after, and that's the one I've seen the most. I've seen it way more than 30 times at this point, I think, and I love that film, and Skyfall and Spectre as well. That took a while for me to kind of love, but I do now love it, and here we are with No Time to Die, 6 years on from Spectre, and I've been waiting this long, and this is it now. We'll get into the kind of discussion on the film, and again, I truly respect the franchise and those involved, and I respect one's right to or write a script and all this kind of stuff, and direct and make their own their own kind of thing. Of course, there is the legacy of Bond, which I do think has to remain in some way intact, and there's a few things, mainly the end, the final act, which I have very much kind of strong opinions on, and one thing really in particular, and what follows, which we'll know, everyone will know what I'm on about at this point. But yeah, I do of course 100% respect an artist's right, and to kind of create what they want, really at the end of the day, and release, of course. However, we'll get to some things, and which I really was quite shocked at, and I have to say right off the bat, I have many positives to say about this, and it's just it's something that I've truly been looking forward to, as a Bond fan, massive Bond fan. I've seen all of the official Bonds, and some of them many times from a young age, of course, and I've played quite a few of the video games. I've started as well, and recently, kind of a year ago really now, started reading, of course, the novels. Currently on Live and Let Die, and I'm still working my way through that. A nice gradual pace. I'm trying to kind of maintain, or kind of prolong the enjoyment from the first time reads, and just a massive Bond fan, but I love every single era, and in some way, and I love the Daniel Craig era. I'm not someone who completely dismisses that era, and just doesn't watch them. I do really love every single Bond actor, their portrayals, and I love every single kind of era overall, and there's only a few Bonds really that I don't overall kind of like, but the actual films. Having said that, I do take something from every single Bond film, this one included. So with all that said, I was just we went to see it in IMAX on Sunday with my brother, of course, who, as I say, is a massive Bond fan, and we went to see this, and I was very much hyped. We wanted to see it in IMAX this time round, just because the way it was shot and all this kind of stuff. I just wanted to get the best experience possible, and just maybe thought that it would be more of a people wanted to see the film more. They pay and see it in IMAX, and they would be perhaps even more kind of just wanted to see this film, and not going to perhaps the cinema to for nearly 3 hours to just kind of sit on their phone and talk. But I have to say all this because it's part of the experience, and unfortunately a very frustrating day overall because of things like this. Just we got in, of course, people were talking, as you do, potentially, before the actual film starts, and all the trailers and this kind of stuff, and prepping for the film, and unfortunately, in some way, I'll just kind of say, it was mostly a packed cinema as well, but even then, there was someone, I believe, in the room, for literally nearly every minute of the film, apart from stuff at the end, that were talking for the entire film, and this just really annoys me. I spent a lot of money on seeing this, and 6 years. Fans have been waiting for this around the world, and just it seems like some people want to go into the cinema to talk, to go on their phones the entire time. I do not get that. I don't think that should be the case. Even just you have a message that comes up reminding you, that you should. Don't talk and don't go on your phone, while the film is showing, and after that, you can do all your stuff that you need to do, and just remain respectful. And unfortunately, that was not the case at all. There were people talking behind me and all, but I must say, that is not something that tainted the actual experience of most of the film. Really, just the first opening sequence. It was harder to hear what was going on, but that was kind of full of action as well. So again, it did not, this kind of bad experience, I must say, was not the sole kind of reason why I was perhaps feeling different things about the film, because anyway, that was in the second half, which we'll get to. But yes, just seeing this, there was people as well, that came in 10 minutes late, and they took about a minute to actually get, from the door to just sitting down, and they were, in the way as well, and they were talking for about 10 minutes, and all this kind of stuff, and it was about 20 minutes before people started to kind of talk a bit less, but still, as I say, for every kind of minute or so of the film, there was someone doing something in the cinema, whether that be a phone, kind of they're using, and or talking, and yeah, it's just that is really, it's kind of shocking, and just it's kind of depressing that that's what people do. The cinema, I really am against that, and I just think if you're going to spend money, to go to the cinema, watch the film, and been waiting 6 years for this film, regardless of what. How much you enjoy a film, you wait to see a film. You don't know what it's going to be like, but you go to see it, and you pay money, and not just the cinema ticket, but everything around that as well for the whole kind of day it was. And yes, very, very disappointing and frustrating. And I was very, very frustrated. However, I kind of I thought this is not going to be ruined. It's a Bond film. It's No Time to Die. This is Bond, and I'm listening to the film, and I'm focusing on the film, and yeah, just. It was insane though, at times, and people kicking, by accident mainly, but just kind of kicking chairs and all this kind of stuff, and just moving around, very, very noisy, and despite that, because it was a good sound system, of course, I got most of the dialogue, and I stayed, as invested in the film as I could have been, and yeah, overall, I'll break down the film, and I think overall this is. Definitely, I must say, yeah, probably a good film, or around that, kind of overall as a piece, taking everything into account, the first half, which I'll say now, I loved, quite a lot, the first half of the film, and I think first of all, the performances, and the opening sequence as well, is definitely it's great to see, of course, Bond back with Madeline, and seeing where they are, and some really, really nice scenes, in the romance, what's going on there, and it's very unique, and never really seen this before. But Lea Seydoux, she was mostly great in this film, and of course from Spectre, seeing that again, I loved this romance in that film, the Bond girl, and all this kind of the connection they had, and was. Couldn't wait to see this film, for that as well, and it carries over, and it does different things, it kind of, this has been a film that's been described as stretching the Bond formula quite a bit, and yeah, of course, I do think it does, and I think it certainly goes too far, which we'll get to, but it is really nice to see different things in this film that perhaps haven't been done potentially in this way before, Bond, and yeah, just kind of seeing it's a very, very different approach to the narrative, and the actual overall feeling of this film, and I'll say as well before I forget this, it really doesn't feel like Bond, later on, but it did at first. I really found, for example, the Cuba sequences as well a bit later on, but especially at first as well, I found it to be very Bond-like. It had an atmosphere, it had a style to it, and just the kind of this kind of thrilling aspect, that I love to see, and yeah, I loved the performances though. As I've mentioned, Daniel Craig, of course, in this film, he is great. In this film, his performance is great, and I think there's some things that don't overall feel, kind of like Bond, in certain ways, even just the character. But I think his performance, Daniel Craig once again is great. He has really been in all of these films, I think, and I think. I'm definitely a big defender of Daniel Craig. I really do respect him as well, and just love what he's done for Bond. But in this film, it's kind of they're trying to go for more of an emotional core. I don't think it's the most emotional, of the Craig films. Even Skyfall. Yeah, maybe. No, of course not Quantum of Solace. All these, I do think they're more emotional, and certainly, of course, Casino Royale. And this is a film that's kind of trying to go for more emotional scenes and a narrative and an outcome as well. But I think certainly in the second half, I didn't really feel I didn't actually feel as kind of affected by this film as I thought I would be. But the performances throughout by of course the recurring cast members as well. We've named them, and just seeing as well. Anna de Armas and as well Lashawna Lynch. These two, were great additions, to this film. And again, I don't know when, kind of we'll hear more about this, but just are any of these going to be in later Bond films? It'd be a shame, but I don't think they will be, and that's a shame because, for example, Lashawna Lynch, I loved her in this film, and seeing the interactions between, of course, Nomi and Bond throughout, I absolutely loved this. One of my favourite aspects about the film, and as well, Anna de Armas, she, of course, being in Knives Out, she was recommended by Daniel Craig. I'm not sure exactly, how far into the production, this kind of came into, but she's in this film, and these characters that I've mentioned, they add more kind of humour to the film and all this, and just charm and something really, really interesting dynamics, and it's just some of this is just really great to see, especially at first, and it's not as funny, and kind of all this in the second half, but it still kind of carries through, for example, different interactions, relationships being built through the entire film, and as I say, Nomi, is a great character, and I loved Lashawna Lynch in this film, and as I say, all these, of course, Jeffrey Wright. Perhaps we'll get into that more on the review, what happens with Felix, but of course, he dies, as we know in this film, and I loved, seeing Jeffrey Wright, and it's kind of great to see him again, and then I kind of realised, they're going to kill him off, and it was, I don't really know how to feel about that, really, and I just, there were some things around that kind of felt a bit forced, in the sense that he had to be killed. We'll get to that. Just kind of that feeling a bit in a few moments. But I did. I enjoyed seeing him again. He's a great actor, and again, I don't really know how to feel about Felix dying in that way. For example, which we'll get to on my review. Second watch, perhaps something like that. Could be. I can maybe get more from that, and try to perhaps articulate my thoughts a bit more on that on a second watch or a third, and I love though the performances, of course, the visuals at times, I loved seeing, and the Cuba sequences especially were wonderfully shot, and of course Spectre as well, and this is me briefly talking on some points, but Spectre, of course, it's introduced soon into the film, and of course we have Safin, as well in the opening, and of course played by Rami Malek, and I loved kind of moments in the opening sequence, but I think in this film overall, in a general sense, I think the villains are very unfortunately disappointing to me as a fan, and I think as well, as a Safin. Overall, as a villain, it was interesting at first, and it was kind of cool to see, how he was involved, in past events. Although, it didn't really make sense to me. Although, again, Bond does not have to make sense, and we'll get to that. What kind of how I view Bond films. But yes, just of course, it's not, for example, a logical franchise. It never needs to be, and that is one of the points that unfortunately this and Spectre and the actual plot. I love the film. But Spectre really, the plot, trying to add more logic and tying it all together really messes things up actually, and it's not necessarily needed, for me. And seeing those Safin, overall, I was wanting more. And I kept expecting more, and to see where they would go with it. There's some definite good scenes, involving Safin, later on, in the kind of in the gardens, for example. But I overall felt, kind of, the death of Safin, was just underwhelming, and when it happened, and he died, I thought, okay, he's dead, he's been killed off, and I really didn't get anything from that villain, unfortunately, throughout the entire film, mostly, and I love Rami Malek and Blofeld. I think he's, I don't, dislike the portrayal, for example, of Blofeld in Spectre, but I'm not, that big on it. Really, and I think overall the portrayal of the organisation of Spectre, in Spectre the film, is very very disappointing. I much prefer, you know, the kind of the Connery days and all this, and Lazenby, you know, and how Spectre is, you know, kind of portrayed. But I think, you know, in Spectre, you know, I thought, you know, it'd be nice to see him, yeah, see him again in this film, No Time to Die, and then they kill Blofeld off very, very quickly. You know, I was wanting to see more. You know, I definitely, I'm a fan of, you know, the kind of portrayal of Blofeld in Spectre more than this. You know, it's very disappointing to me. You know, I just as well, I kind of misheard because of all the perhaps the noise. But one of the lines I definitely, you know, I think I misheard was, you know, it's a very strange moment. You know, after seeing it, you know, I was laughing. It's just looking back on it. But you know, Bond, you know, kind of goes close to Blofeld, and you know, I thought he said, "Die, brother, die," and you know, I was thinking, yeah, it kind of makes sense, but you know, is it? But I think it's die, Blofeld, die, and just, you know, I just thought, you know, either way, you know, it was just a hilarious moment that was just baffling, you know, to see, you know, the way he done it, you know, wow, what was going on, you know, I think at times the script, to me, you know, just I'm not really getting too much from this at times. It's very, you know, I found it to be all over the place. You know, just for respect, and you know, it's you know, it's very confusing. The lines at times just did not, you know, make sense to me, and just kind of had me, you know, was kind of looking like this in a cinema, and just you know, that whole kind of, yeah, die, Blofeld, die. That was an insane moment, and you know, there's another moment as well. I've seen, you know, recently as well, since seeing it. Of course, I've seen some reactions to the film, and some people as well, you know, picking up on the whole kind of Safin, of course, Mathilde, you know, being placed down by Safin. You know, she bites him, you know, and then of course, you know, he says, you know, if you don't want my protection, you can go, and yeah, she just goes off, and he doesn't really care, and it's just, you know, things like this, very inconsistent and confusing just to me, first viewing. Character motivations and just outcomes, and you know, perhaps at times, yeah, things can seem random, you know, but still, you know, I really think this was just, you know, insane at times what was going on here, and you know, this is meant to be more of a realistic take, but you know, I just personally, with respect, you know, again, being honest, you know, I found this to be perhaps the least realistic of the Craig films, actually, and yeah, it seemed very, very strange, and everything was going on in the second half, and it was all going, you know, some moments of greatness still in the second half, but you know, it was kind of followed up by, you know, a baffling scene, and I was thinking, the first half, you know, I did, as I say, I loved a lot, and even, you know, going on, I loved elements, you know, of course, Craig as well, and just different performances, you know, Ray Fiennes. I was very interested to see his involvement in the plot, you know, of course, M, and yeah, just seeing the whole team again together, you know, Ben Whishaw, and you know, as Q once again, and just, yeah, just seeing, you know, character development as well, with Q, and you know, of course, M as well. That was great, and I loved all of this stuff. And you know, later on as well, you know, the actual Bond lair, you know, I did, you know, I liked the design, and you know, at first I was really impressed by this, but you know, now, you know, I kind of, after seeing the film, I have this kind of trauma, you know, attached to that kind of, especially, you know, the inside of the, you know, this, and certain rooms, and all this, with the switches, and I guess we've said some pros. Of course, the action, you know, and the music, as you know, serves it well, you know, the film, and just off the top of my head, you know, as I say, the comedy, you know, and it does have, you know, a heart. At times, you know, I did feel, you know, some warmth from this. You know, I felt at times the writing was very, very commendable. Other times, not so much. But you know, I think generally the actual recurring characters, and you know, some of the new characters as well. You know, not the villains, but you know, yes, basically Bond's allies. You know, I guess through the film, you know, I really loved all of them. But you know, I loved. Let's just think. I appreciated certain things as well in the film attempts early on, although some things didn't work. You know, of course, you know, I'll say them first. I guess, you know, the whole, you know, I really, you know, I don't really agree, you know, with just bringing back Vesper and the whole emotion into this film. You know, everyone knows on the channel, how much I love Casino Royale. It's one of my top 50, kind of favorite films of all time, and I think it's one of the best romances in cinema. And I just, despite that, I really don't want, mentioning, in that way, an attempt to kind of constantly bring back this whole emotion, because even then, just seeing this film though, of course, when Bond goes to her grave and all this, first of all, does make sense, whole kind of explosion there, but regardless of that, I just didn't like that kind of stuff there, and it didn't really wasn't earned for me, and it felt kind of forced, and as well, before I forget, the kind of uses of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the kind of music cues, and all the songs. Even the actual theme, I noticed, when Bond and Emma talking, later on, that is used, in the film, and also, all the time in the world being used, at the beginning, or near the beginning, and as well the end, as we know, I didn't like that, and of course, everyone knows once again these two Bond films, yes, Casino Royale and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, how much I love those films, and despite that, I appreciate references. Despite that, I wasn't a big fan overall of a lot of the references. Some of them worked, and just general, thematic, kind of nods and comparisons to different Bond films. It was definitely something I appreciated. As I say, massive Bond fan. Seen them all. I just love most of them. Or enjoy most of them, and I love in films when references are done well, and but just in this film, I didn't really feel that, and I certainly didn't like the ending. Kind of using all the time in the world. But yes, let's kind of move on. Some definite criticisms. The first half and later on as well, but. The final act, of course, Bond is meant to stop this, thing from happening, which we won't get into all the particulars. Again, we'll get to that in the actual review. But yes, some Bond fans, personally feel that this should have happened, but I really do not think this should ever have happened. In fact, just before we mention the big event, of course, everyone watching this already knows. Of course, it's going to be a film that will divide audiences, of course, and that's fine, like every film can. But yes, some people, in fact, yes, a few years ago, I was joking, a family member, and said, imagine if this happened to Bond, and we just kind of laughed, and I've always thought that, imagine that'd be one of the things that just if there is a rule, we should never do, and in this film, it happened, and I left the cinema. I felt sick. I'm not going to lie. And it's not. Again, people can call me a fanboy. I really don't care. But if I'm a fan of the franchise, and just this is not just another action film. And I love action films. I'll say it now. Campy action. All this, and really a lot of B-grade films I've put the time in to see and absolutely love. I love all types of action. I'm not someone who's bashing on different franchises. Recent ones especially. All this nonsense. But yeah, just I love action of all kinds. Always interested in looking at action and just enjoying action. And despite that, this is not just another action film. Kind of thing. This is, James Bond, and honestly, this has not been going for so long because it's just an action film that fun times, with decent action, and it should be just judged as an action film with a plot and something to go with it. This is Bond. There is things that we all look for, and there's a few things that should never happen, and one of those is killing off James Bond. I was, sickened. That is the big event that, unfortunately has really, I cannot look at this film in the same way. And even I would have been fine with, a really awful Bond film. This is just me being honest. And just up until that, an ending where they didn't kill him off, and something happened. It was a fine ending, and he lives to see another day. Fully, and he still does. I was waiting, in the credits, and I'll say as well, everyone rushes you in the cinema, but I always stay for the credits. I respect and pay tribute to those involved, and I just love, see the music and all this. I always watch credits, and despite everyone jumping up and going most of the time, I always watch the credits, in the cinema as well, and right at the end, the line was there, you know, James Bond will return, you know, so of course, you know, he will come back, and you know, again, he always does, and we know, you know, it's not logical. Every, you know, different actors play him, and you know, he's not, you know, it's, you know, different ages and all this, and yeah, just he's always back. You know, he'll go on forever, of course. It seems, you know, in some sense, and yeah, he'll last forever. But you know, I kind of doubted that. You know, at first, you know, I didn't know what they were doing. You never know. You can never know until you've seen the confirmation. But yeah, luckily, James Bond will return. You know, came up. So of course, yes, we look forward to the next Bond film. However, you know, for me, one thing that should never happen in the Bond film is killing Bond off. You know, I think this is just whatever the intention. You know, and all this. You know, I just. You know, I really 100% don't agree with it, and even if I watch this, you know, 10 times, 100 times, I will never agree with it, because I've always said for many years, you know, it would be a joke. You know, it was something that I joked about, you know, Bond being killed off, and you know, actually seeing him die in a film, and you know, kind of you know, fully. Of course, you know, different things, you know, Bond films, you know, Casino Royale and all this kind of stuff, but technically, you know, but seeing him, you know, killed off and not return, you know, at the end, in the sense that he's been actually, you know, killed for good, you know, in a film, and we'll have to wait till the next one to see another Bond. This is something that really, you know, just angered me. You know, when I came out of this, you know, I was kind of, what's going on? Has this actually happened? This is the film that I waited this long for. You know, with all respect, you know, as a Bond fan, I was very, very dissatisfied. You know, I felt like crying. Again, if people call me fanboys, you know, I really couldn't care less. You know, this is my favourite franchise that's, you know, long running, and you know, overall as a franchise, you know, this is my favourite James Bond. Love this franchise, you know, and still, you know, I don't dismiss films or eras, you know, outright, and always try to find, you know, the positives in them, and praise all those that put, you know, the effort into this, and you know, I do, of course, and I respect one's right to make their own film. However, you know, the legacy of Bond, you know, is something that should never happen. For me, you know, just from my perspective, is 100% never ever kill James Bond off in a film, and you know, we obviously know, you know, that this is an illogical franchise. We don't need the logic to be applied, because it's just again, like Spectre in the plot, you know, at different times, you know, it's absolute, you know, nonsense. You know, when you try to apply logic to this, and you know, try to, you know, tie everything together in this way, and I hope the next film, you know, kind of goes back to standalone films that are, you know, spiritually linked. We all know this. We all know they're kind of all connected, the Bond films, officially, and we have that kind of Bond feeling, the gun barrel and all this. You know, I'm not someone who will dismiss a film, you know, just because it's not got, you know, a typical gun barrel. Again, I'm not, you know, doing this, and you know, I went into this film to enjoy this film, and you know, to see as well what they would do with Bond. But you know, I never thought, you know, I'd ever see the day where they kill Bond off, and again, I'll be focusing on this quite a bit, you know, for the rest of the video, and we'll, you know, because it really, you know, it's a thing that, you know, despite everything else, it just, you know, I'm left with that thought, you know, I've you know, it's this kind of trauma, and as I say, you know, kind of attached to that final base, you know, in those rooms, it's like a nightmare, and you know, I don't want to go back there, but you know, I will be seeing it again. And I did come out, you know, thinking, I don't even think I want to see this again at the moment, and I want to maybe give it time, you know, because, you know, as a Bond fan, you know, it really hurts to see this happen, and I just, you know, I respect, of course, being bold, but I don't think it's bold to, you know, take a franchise that's been going this long, and simply kill off the main character just to subvert audience, you know, was expectations. You know, I don't think, with all respect, it takes any skill or, you know, kind of anything to, you know, simply in itself, you know, kill a character off, and just, you know, kind of do this. You know, I think it'd be great to see, you know, ambiguous endings, but you know, to literally show the missiles, you know, and all this kind of going and landing on Bond, you know, like, literally, you know, confirming, you know, everything like that. Yeah, one thing, you know, this film in the last act was very unsubtle, and you know, just kind of it was very, very strange. But you know, seeing just you know, kind of that moment there, especially, was just quite insulting, actually, you know, to me. You know, just my connections to the franchise, and I just found it, you know, unfortunately, pathetic to see Bond being killed off like this. You know, it just felt like to subvert you know, the expectations of the audience. You know, it was basically, to sum it up, you know, it was like, you know, kill him off, you know, kill him off, and then someone says no, we'll try and work it around, or he doesn't maybe have to. No, kill him off, just to kind of surprise and shock, and to kind of mix it up, and for the sake of it, without kind of thinking, hang on a minute, you know, this is James Bond, you know, that should not happen, and it never has. And not to say that things that never have happened shouldn't happen, but you know, there's a reason why you know, it's so immortal. You know, this keeps going, and different actors easily, you know, kind of, well, they ease into the role, and you know, I for one am always respectful and welcoming of different actors, of course, taking the role, and you know, I'm always just kind of, yeah, just to see, you know, of course, in franchises, and you know, in this franchise as well, there's no exception here. You know, I look forward to seeing who, you know, plays Bond next, and give him, you know, the benefit, you know, of the doubt, and yeah, just see what you know, they do with it. It's always, for me, you know, looking over the franchise, worked out, you know, perfectly. I love all the Bond actors, and yeah, just kind of seeing these things, but you know, yeah, it just you know, did feel like, as I say, you know, it's just kill him off, and you know, just rush to kind of just kill off Bond no matter what. You know, just get him over and done with, and then of course that'll be it. You know, we've killed Bond, and we can say we've done that, and it just literally felt like that was the entire goal. You know, of that. You know, it's just simply surprise and shock. You know, just for the sake of it, and there's no as well. You know, I don't personally find, and this is, you know, subjective of course as well. You know, how I don't really think Bond should be a family man, really, in this sense, and you know, his sacrifice, of course, was, you know, for these characters. Again, you could say, well, it makes sense, you know, in the sense that his, you know, not the fact that he dies, but you know, any kind of sacrifice for Madeline and of course Mathilde, you know, would make sense, you know, because he, you know, you see he cares, of course, about them, and you know, even though there was some, yeah, before I forget, some weird things at first. You know, is, you know, Mathilde his daughter or not? You know, that was very confusing. But you know, in the end, of course, yeah, she is. It seems like. But even then, you know, I think it'd be, you know, it'd be interesting to see. You know, I thought, you know, in different films, Bond having, you know, a kind of a child at some point, and you know, of course, staying with someone long term. But you know, a family man. In the sense, I don't really think it works for the character of Bond. I think he's more kind of on his own, you know, kind of cold, you know, kind of distant, you know, I think, and you know, perhaps, you know, he could be a family man, but not, you know, in the way he's portrayed, you know, in this film, and yeah, I just don't really think, you know, everything that follows up, you know, it's one of these films, you know, just where something happens that you think, oh wow, that was not good, in your opinion, and then it follows it up with scenes that are equally kind of just baffling, and they really follow through with it. You know, they commit, and they're just kind of bashing you over the head with more kind of pain, in the sense that, you know, they drink to Bond, and then of course there's the thing afterwards. His name was James, and we have the actual entire, you know, the actual song. We have All the Time in the World playing. You know, in its proper form. Obviously, early we had it in the instrumental kind of version, of course, and Hans Zimmer, you know, working different Bond, you know, pieces into the score, but yes, just you know, we have this at the end as well, the actual song, and I did not like that. You know, just seeing, you know, his name was James, his name was James. You know, just you know, I was just, you know, and then the credits came on. I was shaking my head. I was just, my brother as well was actually even more annoyed than me, and because I tried to maintain some kind of level headedness, but you know, then I came out, and then journey home, and you know, it's just like, you know, I was just thinking, I can't believe, you know, I've seen this happen. You know, it did not need to happen. It never needs to happen. For me personally, everyone has different opinions on this. You know, Bond should never be killed off. You know, in a film, and yes, of course, you know, he can go forever, and he of course would not be, you know, if, you know, if it lasts 200 years or more, you know, he would not obviously be that age, you know, or, you know, in the sense that, you know, it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't need to be something that makes sense. And of course, to kill him off, you know, overtly in the film, without, you know, it's not even, you know, ambiguous, you know, he dies, and you know, it's just, you know, it really, for me, I'll go as far to say, you know, we'll wrap up now, well, very, very soon. Not only is this is this, kind of the worst for me personally? I'm not being, clouded with first time viewing and just anger at this. For me, this is the worst Bond moment in the history of the franchise. I would take, the surfing in Die Another Day and all these different moments over this. I'll be grateful for any film, in the future that just doesn't do this, because for me this is, I have to say, in terms of what, because we'll talk about another franchise quickly to kind of give more context, but in the way of something that truly I care about so much, and then they do this, and it just is in my head, and I can't get rid of this. This is the worst or my least favorite moment, ever in cinema. In terms of certainly coming out of the cinema, just actually going to see a film and seeing a film. It has to be my least favorite moment, because not only is this, it may not be, worse, for example, acting, all this kind of stuff, or just actual cinematics, as loads of different things, moments in film, but it just really, it's my least favourite moment. If there's one moment, in cinema that I could kind of take back in terms of an actual narrative and what happens to a character, all this and how it, what it does for a franchise, although it doesn't really, because it doesn't affect it in that sense going forward, overall. It's just Daniel Craig here, really, and I kind of have to forget, this film in a way, and what happens in it. But this is definitely my least favourite moment in many regards, ever in cinema, and that's just me. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled. We'll wrap up soon. To have this opinion, and for example, I'll talk about this this franchise a bit more very soon, actually, because I do love. Star Wars, but seeing the original trilogy over and over again, from a very young age, that's something I truly love, and that to me is my kind of Star Wars that I think about when I think of Star Wars. Yoda and all this, and the moments in those films, and just seeing, of course, Luke and his narrative, and just seeing Darth Vader, and all this, and that original trilogy, it's just, it's perfect to me, and just seeing, of course, later Star Wars films, including the prequels as well, I have to kind of separate them, and I can, because it's its own thing, while being tied to the universe in a different way, in a broad sense, in the grand scheme of things, and it's certain films though, after the prequels, or one film in particular, for me, I respect everyone's opinion. Absolutely perfectly fine if you love that film. But one film in particular, I saw this and really did not like it, and it done some things, for the mythology and all this kind of stuff. And it's fine. I didn't like it, and I respect everyone's opinion, of course. And as long as they respect mine, and it wasn't personally for me. And going forward, I didn't really. There's a few films as well that I saw that I didn't like from that franchise, and despite that, the original trilogy is completely untouched, and that is the same, to put it into context for this franchise for me. I can watch, Bonds over and over still, and just kind of forget about this film, and that is a shame, because I did want to kind of include it in. Perhaps I think of this and that when I watch other Bond films, and different cues here and there, to Bond films. But I will try to, as much as I can, forget the events of the final act, especially of this film, and what happened with Bond dying, and as well moving forward as well. And I guess it would be nice to see, surely, just standalone films again that are, of course, spiritually tied to Bond and the legacy and the franchise, doing different films, of course, do different things in those films, and different adventures and characters, and I look forward to that. Of course, I appreciated so much about this film, and loved the performances, the interactions, and the style at times. The action, was thrilling at times, especially the Cuba sequence, and I loved, seeing some moments as well in the kind of the club there. Blofeld's birthday party as well. That was strange, but it was good to see, and I loved quite a few things about this, but overall it really is tainted by the final act. The second half as well, in a general sense, and certainly the actual ending, last few scenes, completely was just, for me, I'll use the term an abomination, and I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I'm saying, in this video, Bond has died. Again, it's just, I'm open to so many things, you know, in different franchises. But you know, to see James Bond die, you know, for me, a big no. You know, the biggest no in all of cinema, and you know, really has unfortunately ruined, you know, just the experience of seeing that. I'll never forget, and I just don't really understand how it's made for the fan. This was confirmed to be made for the fans, and I respect all the, you know, the producers and everything. I love, you know, respect those wonderful people, but you know, I just think it's perhaps just a risk, I guess, that did not, for me personally, work in any way, shape or form, and you know, again, it felt like I'd been cheated. You know, I came, you know, out of the cinema after, you know, a pandemic, and again, irrelevant. You know, every film can be its own thing, you know, in terms of satisfaction. You know, and just all this, but you know, obviously an ongoing pandemic. I correct myself, but yeah, just, you know, it's not really the best of times. And you know, I wanted to see this film, and actually, I'm glad it did not come out when it originally did, regardless of, you know, what's going on. But you know, just in terms of, I had so many great times last year, you know, kind of gradually going through this franchise, interacting with great people, and you know, just gradually going through it again. The franchise, of course, I did this, you know, a few years ago as well, and I've always watched Bond films, of course. But yes, you know, I'm glad I had all that time to kind of cherish, because if I'd seen, you know, No Time to Die last year, you know, just it would have been, you know, just even worse to see that, and then, you know, being yeah, just kind of rushing perhaps more, watching the Bond films again, reviewing them on the channel here, talking to them, talking to you about the films, and then, you know, seeing that, you know, kind of straight away would have. I'm glad, you know, it came out, you know, when it did, and perhaps, you know, I just again, I can forget, you know, what happened in this, you know, in terms of the lore and all this, and perhaps, you know, I do that with Star Wars, as I say, and different things that happened. You know, in that franchise, again, I love Star Wars, and I respect everyone's opinion on any of the Star Wars films. You know, if you love all of them, that's fine. I don't personally, and it's just a comparison I wanted to make. Again, because I've not really talked about that franchise. You know, and I think, you know, perhaps I'll even more so going forward, talk about different franchises. Of course, I love Bond. I love other franchises as well, you know, that I haven't really mentioned, you know, on the channel. But yes, just this was really, unfortunately, shattering disappointment. And you know, if I came out as a Bond fan, a massive devoted fan, but you know, a balanced, you know, kind of viewer, you know, of the different eras. You know, I love as well the Daniel Craig era. I do not dismiss it at all. You know, I think there's something to take from every Bond film, you know, that's ever been made. But despite that, coming out of the cinema, feeling nothing but sickness and just depression, you know, just, oh my, you know, they've killed Bond off, and they've done it, you know, not only that, they've done it in this way, which just did not make sense. It felt like they had to kill him off, and I really felt that, again, to subvert audience expectations. Again, if I'm called a fanboy, I really don't care. You know, I love the franchise. I'm never going to change my mind on that. And if you want to see a simple action film, which is not dismissing of every action film, you know, of course, there's not Bond, but you know, this is Bond. It's not just an action film, you know, like this and that. You know, it really is its own thing, its own identity. And again, mix it up, you know, if you want, you know, different gun barrels, or perhaps, you know, have one that's really not for me, a certain gun barrel here or there. I won't, you know, kind of moan about that, you know, for the entire, you know, video, you know, review, and just different, you know, breakdowns. I won't kind of focus on, you know, a theme song that I don't like. I try to basically take in all elements of a Bond film, but you know, and I do, you know, I do really, again, respect and, you know, appreciate and really enjoy a lot of this film, but you know, there's some things in this, the villains and all this, and the plot, and just seeing, you know, as I say, the ending, which really was the final straw, and you know, I just couldn't, I will never kind of, you know, like that again. It's been something, as I say, to put into context, I've joked about, you know, kind of before, you know, and just kind of thought, well, you know, of course that'll never happen. We'll never have to kind of, it's only just a joke, surely. That's, you know, a running gag that I've had with a different family member, of course, you know. Yeah, it actually happened, but you know, you never know. These things can happen. You know, again, we'll move on. You know, we'll look forward to the different Bond. Again, I look forward to, hopefully, with all respect, you know, it takes time, of course, but you know, hopefully, Bond from every 2 years or so, instead of, you know, every 5, 4 or 6 years kind of thing, and just going to see them more regularly. And video games as well. You know, great stuff coming out. You know, kind of around Bond, and you know, it's kind of. It's great to see, you know, always, you know, it's welcomed as part of the family, of course. You know, I'm not going to discredit the film and say it's not a Bond film, but, you know, it does undeniably contain the worst Bond moment for me, and the the thing that should never have happened. I just feel really kind of down with this one, and I have to say it's an honest opinion, and yeah, just with all sincerity and respect, I just have to say, coming out of it, the negatives did kind of, not as an overall score, but as an experience, they did outweigh, just the fact that how much I liked the film until this, because they were so crucial to Bond, and it was one of the only two things also that I just never wanted to happen. Potentially, Bond just kind of dying. This is just. We'll leave it at that. Tell me your thoughts on this film, initial thoughts, or have you seen it a few times? Yeah, I'll go into it again. I support this film. In the sense, I support the Bond franchise, and yeah, I respect all those around it. The producers, Daniel Craig, of course, and Hans Zimmer, all these great people. Of course, Naomi Harris, Ben Whishaw, Ray Fiennes, Lashawna Lynch, all these great individuals who. These performances, again, we could never see any of these again, so it's sad and frustrating, this film. And yeah, Bond dying, absolutely no, what a shame, but yes, again, I love James Bond as a franchise, it's my favourite, and yeah, I look forward to the next films. Of course, we'll keep going, we always do. Bond will never die, and he may die in a film, but he doesn't actually die. We know that, and he keeps going. And again, you can take a film and kind of just not think about it if you're watching other films. And yeah, it happened, and that's it. It's done. I didn't want it to happen as a fan, but it is. Beyond unfortunate that it did happen, and we'll leave it there. I did take a lot from this film, and I do appreciate the film, and yeah, everyone involved, and a big thanks once again, and yeah, tell me your thoughts on this film. Again, keep it respectful, please. If I see anything that is too personal, crossing the lines, just too far, it will be immediately deleted or dealt with, and because I know what reactions and stuff to this, and just from experience as well, on these through YouTube, please remain respectful and sincere, and do not make personal attacks. And again, just most people are fine, but a warning: someone coming through this, seeing this video, and attempting to make a certain comment, on the video, it will be dealt with, it will be deleted, and yeah, keep it respectful, please. And again, let's just celebrate this franchise and give our personal takes on the film. If you didn't like the film, that's fine. If you did like the film, that's great. If you loved it and whatever, it's great to hear opinions as long as they're respectful. So yes, that's it for now. Bond will be back, and so will CineArts. So will we. So yes, I don't know what to say. Let's just kind of limp off. After this, just soul destroying, unfortunate experience. For the actual outcome. But yes, once again, I appreciate all those involved, and yeah, just I liked the film, and be interesting to see where it is in the ranking. I know roughly where it is. It's not too high, I must say. But I do. I can't say I dislike the film, entirely. But again, I'm sure some people would through the ending, and that is understandable. And as I say, it's my least favourite moment, in the franchise, but I still have to, kind of admit, until certain points, I did love or really like. So yeah, there we go. No Time to Die, initial thoughts, very lengthy, and the review potentially will be longer, but yes, just my thoughts. Thought I'd be honest and sincere, and again, I love this franchise. Massive respect, thanks to those involved. It just didn't really do it for me, in a few regards, and again, that's my opinion. No Time to Die, and yeah, it really took a lot out of me. But yes, thanks for watching, of course. And just as always, just these Bond, videos, and more to come. And the ranking, I can't say when it will be. Hopefully before the end of the year. And just, this has kind of confused me and all this. And I need to watch it again. And when I can, of course. See that again, and then think about the ranking, and see a few more again, just to see where they are exactly, and get it really locked down, that ranking. Yes, that's it for now. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.